Tabula Recensa. Such was the amazing genesis of the Great Table. How all this is connected to the vision of the Golden Talisman and the practice of modern Enochian magic will be the subjects of the next lessons. Before moving on, however, and in order to more easily illustrate the structure of the system, I need to temporarily tighten up some of the loose ends that the irregularities in the original material often leave dangling in the eyes of the student. The most serious of these concerns the lettering of the Great Table and the various names of angels drawn therefrom. Here's the problem. After they initially received the Great Table, the magicians were obliged to change or add certain letters in some of the squares. There were other loose-end inconsistencies that plagued Dee and Kelley, one of which was the uncertainty over which compass directions were to be assigned to the four quarters of the Great Table, a problem that Dee appears never to have resolved to his satisfaction, and one that I have chosen to sidestep completely by not using the directional references to identify the four quarters of the Great Table at all. These inconsistencies, however, pale before what happened in April of 1587, nearly 3 years after Dee and Kelley had ended their Enochian workings. For some reason Kelley felt compelled to revisit the mysteries of the Great Table and once and for all settle the questions of unresolved inconsistencies. During a conversation with the Archangel Raphael that lasted approximately 1 hour, he claimed to receive the Tabula Recensa, or Reform Table. For the duration of this course I will, for the sake of consistency, try to use the Tabula Recensa as my main model for both the lettering and arrangement of the watchtowers of the Great Table. I say try to use because for nearly the entire Enochian period the angels referenced the original Great Table when explaining the angelic hierarchies and spelling the names of individual angels. It will be necessary from time to time to refer to the original, unreformed Great Table, especially when we start discussing the cherubs, whose names might be dramatically affected by the Reformed Table's new arrangement. Figure 69. For a practical manual such as this it would be distracting to the point of absurdity for me to pause, footnote, cross-reference, defend, and explain each and every one of these aberrations, especially considering the fact that in many instances I myself have not been able to track down the source of the differing lettering. That being said, certain clear references in the continuing communications revealed elemental hierarchies and rulerships both of and within the individual watchtowers. Building on this information, the adepts of the Golden Dawn projected an eminently logical elemental structure to the Great Table, its central black cross, and its individual subdivisions. These elemental attributions are the heart and soul of the system of Enochian magic taught and practiced by the Golden Dawn, Aleister Crowley, and most modern practitioners. I will now, and for the remainder of this course, refer to the four watchtowers by their modern elemental designations. Please refer to Figure 69. The upper left quadrant of the Reformed Great Table I will now refer to as the watchtower, or elemental tablet, of air. The upper right quadrant of the Reformed Great Table I will now refer to as the watchtower, or elemental tablet, of water. The lower left quadrant of the Reformed Great Table I will now refer to as the watchtower, or elemental tablet, of earth. This is how they are identified in most modern Enochian literature. There is a fifth elemental tablet, the tablet of union, that is attributed to the quintessential element, spirit. It is much smaller, containing only 20 squares, and its letters are drawn from those on the central black cross of the great table, which serves to unite the four watchtowers in precisely the same way spirit is said to unite and separate the four elements. I will have more to say about this very important tablet in lesson 26. Figure 70. Elemental tablets are placed in the same positions as found on the pentagram.